Good morning, YouTube. All you vapors out there. It's Steve again from Texas Vapors Life. Hope y'all are having a good day. I've got another couple of reviews for you today. Gonna try to do that for a while now. Kind of look forward to it. Kind of move spaces to get out of the closet setting. Anyway, it had a great light in it, but using some natural light since and everybody's gone, so there's not a bunch of noise. So I'm gonna do it in here today. I'm gonna relax today. Got through the wonderful Labor Day weekend. Not too much problems here. It was nice out here. You know, out in the country, out here in Texas, shooting, especially on the 4th of July, everybody uses guns instead of firecrackers, which one way I'm glad, the other way I'm not. Firecrackers start fires out here, which catch even if it's raining. There's so much stuff. I'll take y'all and show y'all a shot of my front yard, which is keep in mind when I do that it's a newly built house, and I'm not a frisky rabbit to go out there and clean it all up, but I do like the natural look, and just kind of show y'all some of the scenes of the aftermath of 2 fires, and the weeds have just grown back like crazy, so there's bugs and stuff. Anyway, it's a nice bright sunny day. We might have a little rain in a little while from all the hurricanes moving through. It's very humid outside, kind of foggy. With all the trees, it almost looks sometimes like it's on fire out there. Today I have, first we'll start with a review of another SMOK item. The SMOK Cube Mini, 75 watt TC. It has Bluetooth 4.0. It chooses automatically. It detects what kind of coil you have in it, which is great as long as it's stainless steel, titanium, or nickel. Don't like nickel. Boy, I don't like that nickel. Titanium's a little more flexible. But anyway, on with the review. Here's the box. This is going to be my low shot for right now. It's a nice box. Like all boxes, you know, it's not going to get damaged in, you know, overseas shipping, and that's why they put them in these hard boxes. And I keep the boxes just keep all my good spare parts in it and all that good stuff, and kind of collect them. SMOK. And inside is where your X Cube. I've got it in stainless steel or silver. It's very shiny. It's really not, you'd think it'd be a fingerprint magnet, but it's pretty shiny. You don't see a couple, but I've got juice fingers. So anyway, that's where the mod would go. You get a wonderful X Cube Mini owner's manual and instruction guide, and this one is it's like the original one. It's got all the wonderful lights on the side bar, and I love the bar, the SMOK H-Priv and the X Cubes, all the ones where you just have to pull. I love the pull bars, or that's what I'm calling them. The bar switch instead of the little clicky switches, because especially if they're flush, I can't ever find them. Sometimes I'm looking around. If it's a box mod, I'll orient it where I can find it pretty good. But the last two, the Brit that they sent me, the Brit Mega is a round mod. I can't find the button on that thing, so I have to look for it every time. I have to feel for the USB port, which is the button's opposite that. Anyway, I'm an old guy and got bumpy fingers, so hey, my hands are. I've seen some work in their life, not as much as some, but anyway, it's got a great thing about battery life, batteries. A lot of people don't know that much about batteries, and even though it's some would say just 75 watts, boy, when I started, 75 watts was pumping it out, boy, I'll tell you what. And of course, a wonderful USB update cable, and since it is a single battery mod, you can charge through the port. I try to never charge through the ports, and won't. Most of them, there's really no need to charge through the port, but I mean, if you're just in a stick and really need some juice, then I guess it's nice to have, but it takes a long time. And what I'd rather see than a charge port is just a upgrade port, and if you put a battery to it or you plug it in, just have it go through straight through, like a what did they used to call it? It was through power or something like that. I wasn't prepared for that one, but anyway, I would rather see that where it just your power comes straight through the USB port instead of trying to blow your upgrade port or something in the mod. And I've got one that seems to have done that or blown it up. I don't know. Matter of fact, it was just being upgraded when that happened. It was a different brand. It wasn't a SMOK. And other than that, in the box is your authentication scratch off or whatever, so you can use a Google app or Google Play, or you can just get on the web and punch in your numbers, and it'll tell you if it's authentic or not, because there's so many copies out there. Anyway, that's all there is to it in the box. I happened to pick this one up through efun.top, and it was a flash sale a couple of months ago, and it was $15. I couldn't say no. They've had quite a few of them lately. So that's the SMOK box. Here is the mod. On top of it is my UD Belarus or Bellis. Okay, this is not a new tank. It's a 22 millimeter tank. It holds 4 milliliters of juice. It is an RTA. It's got inside of it, we'll just go ahead and show you the box of it too. We'll just do a 2-in-1. The Bellis is one of the nicest little RTAs that I've got for several reasons. You can build it in dual coil, or inside this little package of goodies they've got, this is for the top because it's top fill, so when you unscrew it there's your little thing to keep it from leaking out of the top. And they send you all kinds of different extra screws for it, extra some coils, it looks like, and all kinds of extra little things. And they get right here is that thing right there, that white thing that blocks off not the airflow, but it blocks off the juice flow to that side if you want to just build a single coil. And I like single coils because they're easy to deal with, they're easy to they're just easy to wick and keep up with, and they don't eat as much battery life up. And you know, when you're out and about traveling, you want two things. You want a mod that'll last you, or I want something that's going to last, and I'm not going to have to keep charging it up and charging it up. And two, something that is not big and bulky. This is not the smallest of a mod, but it's a hand, you know. It's not huge like the original one, which is like this big and that wide. It's got an easy little but tight door for your battery right here, and it is a pretty tight battery thing, but it comes right out and then goes right back in. It is spring loaded down there, gold plated. So you can get a shot, gold plated. Positive up. It's just amazing me these days that they're getting, you know, 60 to 80 watts out of an 18650 battery, and getting pretty decent life out of it. You know, I don't have this one set that much. This one's a little different. It chooses what kind of coil wire you got built are in there, and then you can set the initial wattage, but it doesn't say, it's not in watts, it's in it says easy, normal, hard, and maximum. So, you know, maximum would of course be 75 watts on the initial, and then you can set, of course, your temperature, but the wattage sets itself through that, the initial wattage. I just keep mine on normal, and actually the same tank on a different on my EVIC, my Joytech, it registers different. Of course, I don't know, never mind that. I think it might be different because, well, I've got dual coils in this one, so, but I set it down to 220, and if I put it at like 240, 250, it just stays on a power setting, really, to the point to where it's just about burning it. So, you know, it's a real sensitive, or maybe too sensitive of a adjustment on that. I'm sure some of the newer ones, and this is not an old mod by any standards, it might have come out, what, a year ago, maybe 6 months ago. Anyway, there's probably some updates for it, but you can go into, they got an app for your phone where you can go in and mess with the lights and have a wonderful light show at night. And I've got mine turned off. I don't like that. I just want to know what watt it's in. And The other thing I don't care for is that it goes off after it sets for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. I hadn't actually uh, measured the exact time it goes off, but I'll take a bite for you. The other thing you see, when you got both of them completely opened, they've got 32 air holes. There's 16 on that side, 16 on that side, and that just looks, it looks like it was made for this mod. It just the exact same stainless steel finish, so it's just a real nice look, and very easy for arthritic hands or beating up old hands, whatever, or just somebody that likes to this kind of trigger or button instead of, you know, the traditional push button, which can kind of get old. Some of them used to be, I liked the clicky ones, but some of them were kind of problematic. But anyway, it doesn't whistle, it doesn't make any noise. I haven't had any problem with it leaking, except when I fill it, I completely close. And now this is the tank I'm talking about, the Belarus. I close off the airflow completely because it doesn't have a juice flow control. But they had these also at efund.top, and it was a flash sale also, and got it for $10. So this whole setup, I don't remember, battery 750 whatever, so 15 and 10, $25, and I've got a 75 watt RTA, you know, dual RTA 4 milliliter setup. You can't beat that. So those are the kind of deals I look for because I'm on a very limited budget. So if you know the right places to go and you can wait, my experience, don't order batteries through, number one, through any Chinese or out of seas, you know, overseas company, because the chances of you getting them is it's just playing Russian roulette. It's a crapshoot because, you know, they're going to check them if they find batteries. If it's not in the mod, and sometimes even if it is, they won't let it go through because the Homeland Security and the Security Watch of Customs, they will just send it back to the company, or they will confiscate it, and it will be months and months and months, and you're wondering where your stuff's at, especially from Slow Tech, which is Fast Tech. I love the place, man. You can find anything, and it takes forever to get here, at least a month. That's the quickest I've ever gotten anything, but you can find things there that you will not find anywhere else. That's the promise. And they usually have pretty good prices. A lot of what they've got are copies, or what they call style. If it says style, it is a copy. And they've got nearly everything you can think of that we've got out here, or that is authentic, copied. So I don't know if it's, you know, second-rate stuff. That it all looks to be, most of it, exactly the same. So I don't know if they're buying, you know, second or B-bin, whatever you want to call it, just not top-notch stuff, or what they're doing. But if you order batteries separately, they've got a detector, and it detects when they scan that box, it detects lithium batteries and it automatically goes to confinement or confiscation, confinement, something like that. And it sits there forever because I'm sure that it is just overloaded. So if you want to order batteries, go to, I like several places, IMR wholesale.com, and there's another couple, and even you can get some R dash I Sales is a seller on eBay, and he is reputable. Every battery I bought from him is free shipping, very quick shipping, and authentic batteries. So I know that because there's a lot of different testing you can do to make sure they're authentic. So anyway, with that said, I do like a lot of the companies, and that's where I try to keep my eyes open for sales. And I kind of stocked up lately. I'm over the stocking up for mods and all that stuff. It's just what people might send me to review and help pass on the equipment for new vapors, and because I've got enough to keep me going the rest of my life. And there's a lot of people out there that are smoking and have bought into all this danger hype. And well, let's put it, if they're going to regulate, vaping stuff, then they should regulate cigarettes just as hard. So I'm totally appalled that they're saying it's, for our health and our children's health. That's just a bunch of bullshit. And that's just cut and dry. That's what that is. Alcohol and tobacco. Tobacco is going to kill you, and alcohol is just a bad deal. In my opinion, I'd much prefer to see people smoking marijuana, even recreationally. I've never seen anybody go berserk and do crazy, stupid things, but I've seen countless thousands of just tragedies and accidents and stupidness behind drinking. And it doesn't take much. Alcohol is a highly toxic and poison substance. Anyway, here I go rambling again. But this X-Cube Mini, it's a really a good mod, especially for what I paid for it, and I would pay more for it. It's going to be one that'll last as long as you don't just keep dropping it. And it's pretty weighty. It's a little heavier than most, but it's made of pure stainless steel, except for the few plastic parts on the inside and the boards. But it runs just like most of the SMOK products that were built a couple of years ago, with a few upgrades as far as temperature control. And I'm pulling on it as hard as I can, so you can tell it's a very quiet vape. And if you just, kind of that's very quiet, and very flavorful is what I like. The flavors come shining through on this. I was really impressed by that. Really was. I thought, okay, I'm going to try this out. Never even knew anybody that had one, but it's built well. It wasn't full of machine oil. Everything screws together so smoothly. It's easy to build on. It's not a velocity style deck, it's a 3-post deck, but I just use 2 screwdrivers to put my coils on. And if I'm building temperature coils, of course I space them. And it doesn't matter what flavor of build coil it is, I space it. And I have to keep that in mind. If I want a power coil, then yeah, I can crunch it in. But when you smash them down, boy, they get too hot. They just don't work as well in temperature control, and it's likely, especially in stainless steel, to throw you into wattage mode. And that's not why I wanted to start using temperature control. I just wanted to keep from burning up so much cotton and stuff, because I don't want to be inhaling burnt cotton. Another thing I found is rayon. Rayon is you would think it's a synthetic, but it's not. I read about it, research it. It wicks like nobody's business. Phil Passardo put a side by side every kind of wicking material that he could find, and it beat it hands down. I mean, with just a few seconds, it was, it traveled, I think it was 6 inches from the cup of 100% VG all the way to the top through a piece of cardboard that he had punched a hole in and put a pretty good size wad of cotton and all kinds of different hemp and everything you could think of. But the rayon, the one thing about rayon, the rayon won. I mean, as far as it just sucking it right up, because it's like all the fibers are in one direction. It's not like cotton. That's why I like cotton pads, because most of it follows one direction. Anyway, it's not for high wattage builds, because it doesn't burn, and if it does, it tastes more like paper going out. That's what the taste is. It's not made from a bunch of chemicals. It's made from natural fibers, and I can't remember what they use, but I will get that to you the next video if I can remember. And let me have another vape here. By the way, I've got it set at 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Right there, you can see that. And it's set in for dual coil temperature mode. And it's soft, medium, normal, hard, and max. And the instruction manual tells you how much wattage is initially applied before it goes into temperature control. And this one pretty much seems to not jump and fluctuate in and out. It doesn't rattlesnake. What I mean by that is, make that pulse with modification. Pulse with modification, I believe it's called. Anyway, it doesn't, jump to the highest watt, back down to a low one, highest watt, cut off. I really don't like those kind of mods, and there's some out there that do that. I don't like that. I could stand for, and some of the new ones, they have corrected it. You can set your wattage instead of hard, medium, soft. But if you get used to it, you know what it is, and from what you're building, you get used to the mod. I switch between so many mods, and I use my rouleaus the most, and I've really been enjoying those. The Brit tank and that little vape pen 22 has just been a real joy. I've been puffing that thing since the day I got it, and it just I will keep up with anything I've got. The only thing I don't like about it is they don't have rebuildable coils yet. I've looked at the coil. It can be rebuilt, so that's what I'm going to do. The coils are pretty expensive, like the TF V8 coils. Most of them run anywhere from, and this is wholesale that I get them at, anywhere from $9 to $14 for 3. The brick coils do come in 5 packs, either Canthal or I believe stainless steel. So, and that's the only 2 options they've got for that. I'm sure that they're going to come out with more, or they already have more. They just haven't made it to us yet, out on the shelves. Will they? I don't know. I'm sure they will, one way or the other. But we got 2 years to, they've got a lot of stuff that has been brought out overseas or in Canada or whatever country. They had a lot of countries because they didn't specify that, where it was introduced or what country. So that's kind of their little niche for China and for all manufacturers of stuff, where you introduced it or how many you introduced. They're set on time, what year, what month, when was it brought out. So since this is a dual review, the SMOK X Cube 2 or X Cube Mini 75 watt. If you can find it on sale, I would highly advise it. It's a nice mod. Of course, they do have several new ones, and my mind goes blank quite a bit. But they do have some much more modern, much more updated firmware, different wattages. They've got the O sub, which is a really small little 2 milliliter with a helmet tank. They're like $30 or under. Some people are trying to charge $50 and $60. The vape shops are going to charge near retail price, because they're trying to stay open and they're having a hard time of it. So if you got the money, if it's not a big deal, if you're not on a limited budget, go to your vape shop and keep them in business, because Lord knows they need it. They've got a big enough obstacle, and they've got a family to feed too. So the only reason I don't do that is I'm living on an Uncle Sam, so and I'm not ashamed of it. I started working when I was 12 years old, and they only had me marketed. I started doing lawnmower repair when I was 12 years old, and at 16, half days I went to school, and half days I went to work. It's called CVAE, I think. Anyway, I've been paying my taxes. My mother was a banker and she insisted I paid my taxes, so I've been paying taxes since I was 12 years old. And by records, they've only got me since I was 8 years old. And so I have put in probably more than I'm ever going to get out of it. But anyway, there again, they made a lot of deals with Dow and other big farm or chemical companies, and they knew that this stuff was going to cause cancer and all these other things. So, you know, the government's just as guilty. So I don't feel bad about you know, being on disability because of the not warning us about personal protective equipment and what potentially all these chemicals can do. You know, we knew they weren't good to breathe, but we thought, you know, if you wash your hands soon or wear gloves, you're going to be okay. You not spray it in the wind and so it get in your face. Anyway, it's another battle that happened, and the Sunset Commission really made a lot of laws, and we thought it was terrible at the time. It turned out to be a really good deal. This time, in this battle with the vaping issues, I don't know if it's going to work out to be on our side. I'm going to be positive and pray that it does stay a positive thing, and that they don't make us, you know, jump through hoops and just shut the industry down so that the big corporate industry can have it with the, you know, just take the business over from people, because that's not free America. That's not the way we do stuff, or it's not the way we ever have, and it shouldn't be now. But as said, if I broke it, dropped it, lost it, my SMOK, XQ2, would I replace it? Yeah, I'd look for another one on sale. And yeah, I'd buy another one. As far as the Belrus, I would like to have 2 or 3 of these. I just love this little tank. UD, you made a good little tank here. It's very easy to build on, to me, and well, UD Technology Company, www.yoursig.com. Unification of Design is what UD stands for, and this is the Bellis, and it's a great tank. I love it. Need to make a little, because if it hits the ground, I guarantee it's going to break. It does have some pretty good little rings on the top and the bottom, but if it doesn't, it hits a rock or anything, that tank's gone. They did give you an extra tank. If I didn't show you that, they give you an extra tank filled with cotton and all the extra O-rings, and I showed you that, so I'm not going to go back over that. I am going to have another vape. That's good stuff. Today I'm vaping my favorite vanilla cupcake, version 1 from Capellas, and it's steeped, which is perfect, and love it. Love the flavor. For Texas Vapors Live, Steve, to all you YouTubers out there and smokers, let's give vaping a chance. And to the government, let this be a free enterprise thing. Let's not get greedy about it. You'll make a lot more off of taxes than you will getting paid under the table, just a few of you. Let's build America back the way it should be, and let's start whittling away at that huge deficit and quit running around the world fighting everybody's war. We're not mercenaries, and we definitely shouldn't be free mercenaries if we're going to be in that business. Anyway, for Texas Vapors Life, this is Steve, and we'll see you on the next video review. Thank you.